Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and in today's video we'll be doing a video on the Maw. Is the Maw ready as a zone, or is it at least getting ready? As it looks like Blizzard have added a lot more stuff to do on the Maw, which for one reason or another is pretty exciting. Then we also have the conduit system and the Soulbinds. Finally, Blizzard was able to implement an energy token thing into the Soulbinds conduit, where you can now have a lot more freedom, or at least you're supposed to have a lot more freedom and agency in choosing which conduits, which are very similar to glyphs, are used in which Soulbinds, and being able to switch them around on a weekly basis should give you a lot more options to switch rather than the weekly limit. Now, does this system work? Is this gonna give you actually more choices, or what could Blizzard maybe do with the system that they have right now in order to facilitate a lot more customizability in Soulbinds if for one reason or another it doesn't work out? So first of all, let's talk about the Sprite Darts wings. It is a brand new transmog added to the store, which I think is the first full head-to-toe transmog. It looks interesting, I gotta give them that. But it also kind of looks like pajamas and a little bit of this cutesy stuff to it with all the Fey Dragon wings and how they bounce. It's really cool, some of the, physics they added. A lot of us, however, guessing in the data mines what this thing could have been. I, for one, and many others have guessed it might have been having to do with the Fey Covenant. The Fey always been about making plays, and this thing totally looks like a Peter Pan style costume. A little bit of jankiness and patchiness on the side here and there. Kind of cute also, which I thought would fit with the Fey perfectly. And a lot of us thought maybe you would have had like some kind of an event with the Fae where you did a play, but no, ends up being on the store. I think a lot of people will agree that it's generally better to have stuff to be earnable in-game. However, Blizzard also added this together if you want to do a 6-month sub right now to World of Warcraft. I feel a lot more people would be comfortable with a 6-month sub right now, knowing that Shadowlands is around the corner, but at the moment we still don't know exactly when Shadowlands is going to come out. Blizzard did say they want to have it released this year, but we don't know if it's going to be November, December. 2020 is kind of a cursed year. Maybe we should release this in 2021 just to be safe. But without knowing exactly when the release date, I don't really know how many people will be super confident in getting a 6-month sub with this transmog. So you guys let me know how you feel about it in the comments. Next, let's talk about the Maw, which is what we really wanted to talk about for quite a while, but the Maw has been unfinished. So Blizzard delayed the expansion, and now they're working on the Maw. By no measure am I suggesting that the Maw in the current footage is finished, or at least is close. We actually have no idea how close they are to getting it fully fleshed out, but at least it's starting to develop a little bit better. The Maw is supposed to be this endgame zone that you're not supposed to actually stay in for a while. It's supposed to get scarier and worse and harder to be in as time goes on, as the jailer notices that you're poking around, killing his minions, doing a bunch of objectives, trying to grow in strength, and he's like, get out. Eventually you do have to leave the Maw. The Maw is supposed to have some weekly activities as well as daily activities, and some of them are linked to power progression, but some of it seems more like catch up than anything. For example, being able to get upgrades on your Soulbinds, or really conduits, and because those can go in your Soulbinds, I guess they kind of work. You can earn them through dungeons, through PvP, and get them at higher ranks, or you can have them randomly upgraded through Venari, which is one of the denizens that's friendly to you in the Maw. And the Maw is supposed to have quite a lot to do besides just having Torghast. There's supposed to be a lot of enemies and potential for a lot of rare mounts farming. Imagine like Darkshore, just like on a grander scale. And there's been a couple of things that haven't been working out with the Maw. One, there wasn't a lot to do. Feels like Blizzard is trying to fix it by adding a lot more dailies on the map. So now you have all these different mini objectives of collect 5 of these, or kill a certain amount of those guys, or it seems that at least that's a placeholder more than anything. At least they're starting to put stuff in there. So around the Maw, there seems to be more like daily stuff to do. Right now, they don't reward you anything, and it's only anyone's guess what it's going to reward you or kind of do with in the Maw. Most likely, it's going to be for reputation with Venari, so you can buy more stuff from her, but again, we just don't really know. At least they're adding stuff. The Maw on its own, I feel like one of the things that Blizzard hasn't really been able to nail, and they even added an NPC for Survey Taker, asking players how scary is the Maw. It's supposed to be an inhospitable place. And I think really Blizzard needs to get a home run with this one. Remember Nazjatar, the first time you went into 8.2 with Nazjatar and all the Nagas? even a max geared character was actually kind of struggling to kill some rares and needed some groups. And the Maw back with early beta, early alpha, you actually needed to group up to do just about anything there. So I feel that maybe Blizzard should head in that direction with the Maw. I understand it might not be a place where, let's say, a brand new player that's not really good at their class might struggle with, but I thought the whole point of the Maw was to make it super challenging, super scary. It's supposed to be like the hard mode of WoW. And I think if Blizzard can achieve it, making it a scary place where you need other players just to survive, I think would be a very cool theme. Plus, at the beginning of expansion, there's going to be a lot of players out anyway, so it's going to be pretty easy to get into groups. And if Blizzard continues to add better rewards inside of the Maw and continues to keep it relevant, that should get more people to go into the Maw. And I think the main point they need to do is make it super difficult. I think the rare should be extremely hard to fight by yourself. I think even basic mobs should be really scary. They are falling over to us very quickly, and we're not even wearing a normal Nathria gear. And that's the biggest concern here, is hopefully they are able to make the mobs a little bit spookier, a little bit harder to deal with. Continuing to add more objectives and different types of rewards, I think is a good idea. I think the Maw should be basically like all the zones with your world quests and rares and treasures, but just like turned up to 100 maybe. Finally, we have the Soulbind and Conduit system with the energy. So the way it works is every time you switch out a conduit or you place one, it expands the energy that's now at the bottom of your Soulbind conduit window, and you get those energy back once a day. So over 7 days, you'll have 7 energy back. This should, as Blizzard said, give you more opportunity to switch out conduits and Soulbinds. However, this still has some issues. This doesn't really make it that much more swappable because, well, the Soulbinds are class specific. That means if, let's say, Theodore in the Venthyr Covenant is my best Soulbind for all 3 specs, if I want to go from playing Outlaw to playing Subtlety in a fight, I have to go and spend 3 energy. If I want to go back and forth, I have to go back to my Conduit or Covenant, to the Sanctum, to the Forge, and spend 3 energy, and I can only do it so many times. Imagine if you want to play Subtlety and you want to PvP, and then you want to play Outlaw in Mythic Pluses, and let's say a Soulbind ends up being the best choice for you for both those specs. You're trying to min-max it, so you'll do dungeons, you'll pop in your Outlaw stuff, 3 energy gone there. You'll go play some BGs of Subtlety, 3 energy gone there. You'll go back to your Outlaw, and eventually you just can't do it until you wait a week. So this system does not properly work. I think there's 2 things, or actually 3 things that Blizzard could do. 1, make all the conduits less specific, because some of them improve your single target output, some improve AoE. For Outlaw, all of them work on AoE or single target. Subtlety, all of them work for AoE or single target. Assassination, you have one that buffs you Phantom Knives and the other buffs you Mutilate. That's going to make it that much harder for Assassination rogues to do much, especially when they're so specific. So let's say just picking a Soulbind and then popping in the stuff. If you're doing dungeons or raiding, you're always going to be switching. And how many other specs are going to be like this? Think of the druids with 4 different specs, and let's say they want to play all 4 of them for raids. Another thing they could do is maybe make it so that there's no energy. Just let people switch anytime they want to, which would be a little bit of a hassle of having to go back and forth with your Soulbinds and your Covenant Sanctums to open the Forge and switch it. But at least it would really give you a lot of freedom. Third fix for this would be a simple one. Make each Soulbind setup different for each spec. So let's say if I outfit my Outlaw in the best raid single target PvP scenario, and then I go switch to my Subtlety, all my Soulbinds haven't been set for sub. They're all clear. And I have full energy for Subtlety. So make these things spec specific. So when you switch in specs, you can have them preset before it. This is going to be my best for raids. This is going to be my best PvP. You switch your spec out in the open world, go into like an inn, switch which Soulbind you're using, you're good to go. I feel like there's a couple things that Blizzard could do. This is a step in the right direction, but I think it doesn't really solve the big issue. The big issue is making and allowing players more customizability and adjustments, because some players just want to be the best they can be. You want to come prepared, and you want to be in the best Soulbind possible for you. And I think this is what Blizzard needs to utterly solve. No matter how they do it, they need to solve that issue. This is at least a step in the right direction, and there's a couple addendums you can do to fully finalize it. But that's would be my first few words on this, and until next update when Blizzard maybe makes more changes. and I'll update you whenever that happens. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see all of you in another video.